The untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing games are missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, I wanted to just give some thoughts on the fight that took place this past Saturday. It was a great one. I was there. It was a momentous occasion. Gallo Estrada, Chocolatito 2, the rematch. You know, if you guys have been watching the channel at all and have gotten my thoughts on that fight, you know that I believe Chocolatito won that fight, and I rewatched it, and I still believe the same thing. But what I wanted to say was this, and I'm going to do a separate video, one for Chocolatito, one for Gallo, in regards to my post-fight thoughts about, you know, where each of them is at in their careers now. We'll start with Chocolatito, okay? Chocolatito, with that performance on Saturday night, to me, and I think pretty much anybody who's educated on his career, he cemented himself as one of the true all-time greats of the sport. He really did. You know, Gallo Estrada is an A-level fighter. Gallo Estrada is an elite fighter. Gallo Estrada is creme de la creme. And this is prime Gallo Estrada at his best weight. At his best weight, you know. And Chocolatito's fighting prime Gallo Estrada at his best weight while he himself is in the twilight of his career. He is not that far away from retiring. He is not that far away from calling it quits. And it's a known fact, if you watched him fight, if you watch any of his fights at 105, 108, or 112, it's a known fact that this is not his best weight class. So, irrespective of what you think about the fight and this decision, whether you think Gallo won or Chocolatito won, irrespective of that, look at the performance that this man put on at 33 years old, which in this weight class is ancient. I mean, go do your history. Most great flyweights like your Ricardo Lopez's and your Michael Carvajal's, they're already starting to they're already out the game at this point, or about to be out the game at this point, or are not anywhere close to an elite level anymore. You know, that's just how it goes in this weight class, with all the punches being thrown and these wars of attrition that these little giants have to go through constantly. And Chocolatito, that's not the case for him. You know, that's not the case for him. This guy, at 33 years old, he'll be 34 by the end of this year. This guy is still, even at this advanced stage of his career, one of the best super flyweights in the world, and, you know, depending on who you ask, the best super flyweight in the world. He won there against a prime guy, Estrada, at his best weight, at a stage of his career, and at an age where you don't see these guys competing at the high levels like that anymore. And, you know, I saw a fighter that was doing a great job in terms of his effective aggression. You know, the way Chocolatito fights, walking people down with, you know, blocking the punches on the gloves and shifting and not wasting movement. He's a master of efficiency. He's a master of being economical in boxing. And sometimes that gets disregarded and that gets disrespected by people who score fights. Some people reward that. You know, it all depends on how you see the fight. That's the subjective nature and the subjective beauty of boxing. But, you know, people are saying he needed this win against Estrada to cement his legacy at 115 because he was a great minimum weight Chocolatito. He was a great light flyweight. He was a great flyweight, but he needed the win at 115 to cement himself as a great super flyweight. And I don't agree with that. You know, he didn't get the decision, but I don't agree with that. For him to fight a fighter that will one day go to the Hall of Fame, Gallo Estrada, that, you know, if you give him that win, you know, I don't give it to him. I don't think he won that fight, but if you give it to him, you know, you got to put him top 5 pound for pound. So to go in there against a guy who was already on the pound for pound list, you know, who's one of the most masterful counter punchers this sport has to offer, it is prime, you know, with all the confidence in the world, the confidence of beating Rung Visay in the rematch, putting on a masterclass, with the confidence of having a dominant title reign through 112 and 115, unified champion, Ring Magazine champion. This was the best Gallo Estrada, or one of the best Gallo Estrada versions of him that Chocolatito could have ever possibly fought. And the stage he fought him at in his career makes his performance that great. And, you know, I love Chocolatito as much as anybody on planet Earth. He's my favorite fighter. I call him the real TB. I call him the Picasso of boxing. It's going to be a sad day when he leaves the game and puts the gloves up, because boxing will have lost one of the very few throwback fighters it had. But there's a big possibility that Saturday night could have been the last truly great performance from Chocolatito. There's a big ability of that, because when you factor in the age, when you factor in the wars, when you factor in what's happened to him, in his career, good or bad, just the amount of ring experience he has, you can't it would be a lot to ask for him to continuously fight at the elite level, because of the wear and tear on his body. So you'd be led to believe that any fight now, any fight, whether it be his next fight, 2 fights from now, if he has 3 fights left, 3 fights from now, but any fight, he's at that stage of his career where he could fall off a cliff and he could get old overnight. So I really appreciate this performance for what it is, because it was a great performance. It was an economical slugger, pressure fighter, defensively responsible pressure fighter, fighting a guy who's one of the most masterful counter punchers in boxing, Guy Estrada, and he was able, at his advanced age, fighting a guy who was in his prime, at his best weight, to walk him down, to land a steady diet of straight right hands, and still maintain his defensive responsibility throughout most of the fight. And was it rewarded by the judges? No, it was not. But that doesn't take away from the performance. The same way when he lost to Rumvasai the first fight, it was a great performance. It was one of the most courageous and gritty performances you're ever going to see in boxing. But it wasn't rewarded by the judges. Chocolatito is one of those fighters where he's got lots of great performances, but many of his I would say 2 of his best performances of his career came in his losses. Came against Rumvasai in the first fight, came in this fight against Gallo. So, it was a great performance, and I can look at it in context. I don't know what's gonna happen in the future. I don't know if he's gonna fight Gallo again, or if he's gonna beat Gallo, or if he'll lose to Gallo, or if he'll fight Rumvasai, or beat Rumvasai, or lose Rumvasai. But what I do know is I saw a 33-year-old super flyweight who turned pro at minimum weight, fighting another super flyweight at his best weight, and really have his way in the fight, and do enough to get a decision against an elite fighter at this stage of his career. Just unbelievable. He's a great fighter, and I think people need to give him his just due. So that's what I'm doing here in this video. So yeah, Chocolatito Gonzalez, not only is he one of the all-time greats of the small weight classes of 108, 105, 112, and 115, but he's one of the all-time greats in boxing, period. And that performance on Saturday night, for me, it cemented that for him. So you guys let me know what you think in the comments down below. Make sure you take the time to subscribe. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys.